Okay, so our next video is going to be about two-step equations, meaning you have to do two operations and then you can get your answer. They're similar to one step, but you will have two operations you have to do. So first, I like to underline my variable. M is my variable. So the first thing is I have a multiply and I have a plus. So I start away from the variable. So I'm going to start with the plus. And plus 1, the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. And I do plus 1 minus 1 is canceling. And then 10 minus 1 is 9. So on the right side I have 9. On the left side I still have 3m. And now my second step, so that was step 1, was minus. My second step is going to be divide because this is multiply. So I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 cancels to 1m. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Right, let's look at another one. Let's do 2w minus 4 equals 10. So as you can see, I have multiply, I have minus. So I multiply, I have minus. The opposite of minus is going to be, I'm going to do plus. The opposite of divide, multiply is divide. So when I look at this, I already can see that I have an opposite of minus and the opposite of multiply. So I'm going to start with the opposite of subtracting, which is addition. So I'm going to say plus 4, plus 4. And then my negative 4 and positive 4, they cancel. So I have 2w left on the left. 10 plus 4 is 14. And then that was my first step. So my second step is to divide. 2 divided by 2 cancels 1w. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So let's look at another one. If I have negative 8 equals 5m plus 48. Oh, let's do 42. That will work better. Okay, so here's my variable. I have plus, I have multiply. So I'm going to start here. The opposite of plus is minus. So now here I have negative 8 and negative 42, which is negative 50. Signs are the same, we add and keep. On this side, on my right side, these two cancel because they're opposites. And I'm left with 5m. 5m is multiply. So for my second step, I'm going to divide because that's the opposite of multiply. And m is equal to negative 50 divided by 5 is going to be negative 10. It's negative because there's one symbol. One symbol when you're dividing is negative. So my last step is usually divide. Sometimes it could be multiply. I'll show you one where it's multiply. If I have m over 3 plus 1 equals negative 7. So I have divide, I have plus. I'm going to start here. The opposite of plus is minus 1. Plus 1 minus 1 cancels. Negative 7 and a negative 1 together give me negative 8 because they're the same sign, so I add them. M over 3. So here we have divide. The opposite of divide is multiply. So I'm going to take 3 times that. And I'm going to take multiplied by 3 here. So a 3 and a 3, these cancel because they give me 1. So m equals 8 times 3 is 24. And it would be negative because one signal when you multiply is negative. So usually, almost always, divide or multiply are last. Let me show you a special one. This one's a little bit different. If you have a big fraction and you have like w plus 1 over 4 equals 5. So because this one has a big fraction, the first thing you're going to do is work with this 4. So this means divided by 4. So the opposite of that would be multiplied by 4. And if you have 4 and 4, so 1 in the numerator, 1 in the denominator, they cancel. And you have w plus 1 equals 5 times 4 is 20. And now you have to do the opposite of plus 1, which is minus 1. So 1 minus 1 cancels. And 20 minus 1 is 19. Okay, those are 2 steps. They can be a little tricky. Just watch your positive and negatives. I can show you one more. I could say like negative 14 equals negative 3m plus 1. So here I have multiply, I have plus, so I'm going to do minus 1 on both the right side and the left side. Always has to be both sides, so these cancel. So I have negative 3m left on the right, negative 14, negative 1, negative 15. This is where I would suggest using calculators just to make sure you get the answer right. And then here I'm dividing. So it's important to remember when you divide, you have to take the signal with it. So it's going to be divided by negative 3. So that cancels. So negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5 because 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, so that's 2-step equations. So you're going to go into Canvas and try those.